beaming across the eastern townships from the heart of Brome-Missisquoi. This is 99.1 CITI.
Welcome to the Alternatives. You have choices. I am your host, Ilya Kavukis, and this is our weekly show that airs twice a week, Tuesday afternoons at 5 and Thursday mornings at 8:30. And we're about the alternative medicine world, holistic, complementary. Doesn't mean you don't take your medicine and do what the doctor tells you, but, inform yourself. Get on the internet and look around and see what's there and what's being offered. It's important to take responsibility of your health. That's what I usually say. And anything complementary like meditation or doing some yoga or some qigong, these are complementary things you can do to help yourself in any situation that you're in, either stress or some kind of physical pain, or maybe you have some disease that you're working with, or whatever you're in, whatever situation you're in. There's always something complementary that you can do. And this show is brought to you by the Sunshine Center, which is an alternative health center in Sutton. And we offer all kinds of courses, like I just mentioned. And we have therapists there doing massage, acupuncture, and Tao Shiatsu, and we have a couple of new therapies that we're offering. So go to our website, sunshinecenter.ca, and see what we offer. So let's go on to our guest, our weekly guest. Today I have Shannon Brown from right here in Knowlton. Hi, Shannon.
Hi there, Ilya.
So glad you're here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
And I might add, it was very last minute, so I'm really glad you're game.
Yeah, no problem. I'm used to rolling with the punches.
That's it. Grin in the flow. I like that. Okay. So, I love your work. I've heard about your work through Facebook and through other people. And I want to ask you, what's your title? Because I know you're a visionary art painter, do therapy, psychology, and different things. I know you're a singer and whatnot. But what would you call yourself? What's your umbrella that you would call yourself for your clients?
Well, I guess we could break it down into two things. One is that I'm an arts educator, so I bring art to the people, and I help people to access their inner creativity. And then, on the other hand, I use that as a tool to help people to access their inner wisdom and their inner creativity. So it's a mixture of education and also just access to those deeper states that we all have.
Well, let's unpack that a little bit. How would you do that? I know you do mandalas. Maybe you can describe to our listeners, for those who don't know what mandalas are, and
Sure.
and other things you use.
Sure. I find mandalas are an amazing technique in painting that we can use for centering, focusing, meditation. It's also a wonderful way to create, because often when we're presented with the idea of making art, people can become nervous and and fearful of doing the wrong thing.
So, judgmental.
Absolutely. There's a lot of memories that come up of possibly a time when you made art and a teacher told you it wasn't right or you didn't do it well. So the great thing about mandalas is that you can do no wrong. Basically, you've got a circle, and you put color, lines, shapes inside that circle. And so it can bring up interesting things for people. But ideally, what I like to help people with is creating a piece of art that has low stress.
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about doing it right.
Yeah.
Or
So
perfect.
having low expectations too should be up there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like that idea of lowering our expectations, and I want people to feel that that's the case. That it doesn't have to be about the product; it can be about the process.
Nice.
And so mandalas are all about that. They're about the process. And then in the end, when you forget about the end product, often what you have there is something that's really reflective of yourself and of your possibilities.
That is essential. Our possibilities. Yeah. So do you provide the circle? Do they have to make a circle? Because if you asked me to make a circle, it'd be more like lopsided,
like an oval.
An oval.
Yeah, absolutely. I've found this fantastic paper. It's a thick white paper, and I put the circle on for you.
Okay.
And that's great because you've got this wonderful parameter to work in, and it has perfection to it. A circle has already an inherent perfection.
Nice.
What I do ask you to do, though, is find the center. And when you find the center, something interesting happens. If you turn that paper around a few times, you notice the center isn't really the center from each direction.
Neat.
So, do you want me to explain what the name mandala means?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know a lot about this. We've been doing it quite a bit. So, mandala is a Sanskrit word, and it means circle, or it means center. And it basically reflects the totality of the world that we live in. So it reflects the everything, the oneness. So when you bring that idea to people who might not be aware of this idea, this theory or this thought, that everything can be contained in the whole, a vision of wholeness, you can bring it to people that might not have heard that or even thought about that idea, but it resonates very deeply. So we see this image all over in nature. We see it when we look at each other in the eyes. We see a mandala in the eyes. We see it in the moon when it's full. We see it in the shape of the earth. We see it in the rings of a tree when you cut a tree down. It's that circle within a circle within a circle within a circle. And often there's a center, and everything radiates from the center. So it's kind of a metaphor for wholeness and for holistic medicine.
I love that. That is wonderful. Let me just take this moment to tell our listeners that are listening to CIDI 99.1, our community radio station here in the Brome-Missisquoi area. And this is The Alternatives. You have choices. And I'm your host, Ilya Kavoukas, and we're talking to Shannon Brown. This show is about hosting and interviewing local therapists in the area to help you, our listeners, make better decisions when you're dealing with whatever life's throwing at you. Shannon uses art therapy as one of her modalities to help people. And we were just talking about mandalas, and I just love mandalas. I used it, I used to have my, because I'm a Reiki master as well, when I used to give Reiki initiations, one of the first things we do in level 1 is I give people a mandala. But it's already drawn in the shape. They just have to color it. Very simple. But it's a fabulous exercise in focus. So they have to look at it, and then they have to think about creating some kind of consistency, some kind of pattern in that mandala. So I have a book full of these mandalas that are just black and white, and I give them out certain workshops. But I love your idea about the center, and then everything works from there, and letting yourself go. And so you give workshops, right, where you invite people to come, and you provide them with the paper, and you give them all this wonderful instructions and symbols and knowledge. And do you interpret what comes out of these people on their page? Do you say, oh, I see this and that, or you just, no judgment, just good job?
Yeah, absolutely. I stay away from interpretation.